Tamari, everyone, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Hey, good morning, everyone. Kia ora. Sam's taking a big sip of coffee this morning. It is kind of one of those mornings. We have had some technical issues today, but we have made it. We are here. Glad to join you. Let us know you're watching. If you are, on the comments, type it in, and Ruben can sort out, and we can interact via the chats this morning. This morning, I'm joined by Dee, by Ruben, the usual faces, and we have these two lovely young men, Jannick and Sam. Good to have you with us this morning. This morning we're going to be looking at how the lockdown and how the last few months has impacted the universities, how it's impacted the younger generations of OBC. Looking forward to hearing from them. But team, good morning. Tell me, what has your highlight been this week?
Highlights. I think my highlight is kind of almost going back to normal, getting the kids back into the normal routine, but then now like school holidays is going to start in like 3 weeks, so it's like getting back into routine. Yeah, so did a couple beach walks and just doing my regular thing, but kind of miss the family walks and all that family time. But highlight is that we're slowly getting back to normal, so that's kind of a good thing. Go New Zealand.
Yeah, I had an awesome weekend down in Whangamata with some friends. It was really good. Just went down and sat in a caravan down there and hung out and swam in a winter waterfall for some reason. It was great.
Was it like freezing?
It was freezing.
Was there like frost?
Not quite. I think it was colder in Lake Wakatipu in the winter one time.
Did you wear a wetsuit?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No. It was cold, but hey, that's alright. Got back 4:30 yesterday, hot in the shower, and then straight down to church, committed, unlike last week. Rolled up to church, and Evan Greenwood tells me that Whangamata is where the cool people hang out. So I said, yeah, like that's why I went down. He goes, oh, to check out what they were doing, was it? Thanks, Evan. Thanks for the love.
Quality bands. Sam, man, tell us about your week.
It was good. Last week we had youth back for the first time.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I'm handing in an assignment tomorrow, the last one for this paper.
Ooh.
It's good. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Are you free?
No, it's just this one paper. It's been the bane of my existence.
This is your last semester, right?
Second to last.
Second to last.
Yeah. Last year.
Jannick, right? Tell us.
Youth going back was pretty good. That's definitely up there. It was a pretty good week for sure. Also, last week I'm coaching a football team at school. We had our first friendly, which was cool to be a part of. Like after not being able to do sport for many weeks, and then to finally get back out there, it felt like
truth.
Yeah.
But what football? Are you talking about soccer?
Yeah. Yeah, football.
Yeah. I watched real football, and it was so good. That Highlanders game versus it was the Chiefs, Highlanders Chiefs, and I know I come from the Bay, so I should be a Chiefs supporter, but I'm not.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not really. I'm a Waikato supporter, but not really a Chiefs fan. I'm more just anti-Crusaders and anti-Blues. Not so much. I don't support anyone, and then even if it's Auckland, the Blues versus Crusaders, I'll support the Crusaders. Blues are down the very bottom, but they came away with a good win yesterday. But how good was it to have sport again? Like I made myself very comfortable over the weekend. But this morning was a highlight for me, driving in. I live out Waitoki, and when I got up, the dawn was just breaking, and there was ice on the ground, and it was crisp to walk on and real beautiful. And then I drove in, and it was one of those mornings where there's fog just kind of lifting, and there's like layers. So as you drive along, like the trees slowly emerge out of the fog, and the sun's beaming through. I was just driving and going, man, God's so cool. Can't deny this masterpiece that's going on. He's doing it all monochrome, like it's just grey and black, and it was amazing. So that's me. I'm the simple things for a simple mind.
That's good. It sounds like you all had a good week. But we also had some birthdays this week. So we're going to do some birthday shout outs.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. So, Chelsea Bloom.
Chelsea.
Turned 10. Happy birthday. Double digits to Chelsea. Stephen Just. Happy birthday. Man,
Steve. I ran into Steve the other day randomly because he works for the Ottawa Trade Market.
Yeah.
And we were driving down Whangapuroa Road and just happened to stop at the lights and ran down our windows and had a good chat But go Steve, happy birthday, mate.
He always scooters past our house, and he always says, hello! Whether we're out down there or not, he'll, scooter past. Or if I go into over a trade market, and he'll be like, what are you looking for? Do you need something? I'm like, I'm just looking, I'm just shopping. But anyway, happy birthday, Stephen.
Hey, Steve.
Sally Wiggett, Karen Footer, Shazam.
Yes,
Zani.
Zani.
Brian Shaw and Amelia Hyam. Happy birthday, Amelia! 8 years old in Ghana.
I'm sure Peter will let you know that we will say happy
yeah,
birthday all the way from New Zealand, Aotearoa.
Yes.
Awesome.
So happy birthday to all of you wonderful people. And we also want to let you know that our prayer ministry is up and running. So we are meeting now here at 12 p.m. every Wednesday. So if you have any prayer requests, make sure you send them into prayer@ottawabaptist.org.
It's been a rough morning,
Just
team.
pretend that the thing is up there.
prayer@ottawabaptist.org.nz.
One more time, that is prayer@ottawabaptist.org.nz.
Yes, and we have been having church services, 3 of them over the last couple of weeks. And 3 services
A week.
a day, a Sunday, 3 each week on a Sunday. It has been really awesome. I really enjoyed all 3 of them actually. So Dee did a phenomenal job with the family service at the beginning of the day. It was really cool watching like Nigel Andre and Jesus is my superhero. And then Dave Kempton, what a great message at the 2 p.m. slot. And then Mark sharing in the evening slot.
That 5 p.m. service has been really nice.
It's been really cool. We're going to continue through the rest of June in that service style before we move to a 9 and a 10:30 a.m. 2 services in next month,
July.
whatever that is.
July. 2
July.
services in July.
It really has been a bit of a slow morning.
It's been a rough day. I haven't finished my coffee.
It's been a rough day. 9:07 a.m.
Oh my goodness.
We have a few more weeks. No, actually, we have one more week left of Where's Ghana Monday. So this is our second to last week.
Wow.
You guys are lucky.
Honor to get on
Yes.
the show, yeah.
Next week.
Glad to be finishing strong.
Next week is our last week of Where's God on Monday. So we want to encourage you to send in your stories to us at stories@ottawabaptist.org.nz.
One more time for us, dude.
Stories@ottawabaptist.org.nz.
Loving your pronunciation this morning, Dee. It was phenomenal.
Oh, thank
Ottawa
you.
Baptist.
Macron is on.
And speaking of stories, we have, we don't have a story, but it's actually something that we did with our kids. It was my kids, your kids, and Bianca's kids. And so it's just a little thing that we have been doing with our kids at home, but actually it was kids at church. And we were doing something in the car park. So we just want to let you know, show you what we've been up to with our kids.
There is nothing like the pure joy that comes from a dollar's bubbles.
Bubbles. I just like, we got bubbles, guys. They're like, bubbles!
So it's funny how children are just like that Nemo fish. Bubble, 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 bubble. as soon as the bubbles come out, my kids go nuts. So this morning we are real fortunate to be joined by Jannick and Sam. So good to have you here this morning, lads.
Kia ora.
We have been going through this Where's God on Monday for the past couple of months through this time, looking for moments and times in our lives where God has been working. We've been trying to get a cross-section of people from OBC. And so this morning we thought we'd go to the younger end of the spectrum.
Cross-section, I like that.
Cheers, Dad. Is that some sort of
No, just, yeah, no.
good cross-section?
Yeah.
Cross-section, different generations, different experiences, different people within the church, getting a good idea of OBC and how God is moving. And so we want to hear about how God is moving in your guys' lives at the moment and how he's been moving through this time. Sam, we've established already this morning you're a final year student.
Yeah.
What wisdom do you have to lay down on Brother Jannick here this morning? Is it your first or second year?
First year.
First year. So lay it down on the first year, man.
I reckon, I don't know, first year, head down, do the mahi, and then sort of reevaluate at the end,
Yeah.
You don't want to slack off the first year, but then you can, sort of figure out what the workload is, and a bit of experimental, I reckon. Yeah.
The mahi.
Yeah.
Hard work.
Do the yards.
Do the hard yards. Not C's get degrees. That's my
that's me
philosophy.
now. But
Final year students.
Yeah. You gotta,
What would you tell me, Sam, if I was to do my 1 year course again? Head down for the first assessment, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I reckon.
Sharp to
Something
class.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Well, luckily, I've got my qualification. I'm out of there. So.
Well, you would have to combine the first year work ethic with the last year work ethic.
Does that mean I have to double the work, or is it just I sit somewhere in the middle for the work? Are we adding them, or are we multiplying them together?
I think it's the hard mahi and C's get degrees.
Yeah.
Do hard work to get
See,
C's.
this is why I'm not you.
So why you did 1 year? Okay, Jannick, tell us what are you studying, why are you studying, and what university are you at?
I'll do it in a completely different order to you asked.
Yeah.
I'm studying at Auckland Uni. What am I studying? I'm doing a Bachelor of Commerce and Arts, a conjoint degree. I'm majoring in economics and psychology, I think. Why am I studying? Is a good question. I'm studying because I think that I will get you some useful skills at uni, I'm hoping. I know I enjoy economics, and I guess I always figured I would go to uni. I'm not sure what I want to do exactly afterwards, but hopefully I'll kind of figure it out more as I go along.
Good answers, man. It's it's good. And I think you're in those real formative years too, where you're learning what it's like to pay the bills, and all those things. How do you put a warrant on your car?
It's a good question.
Just
did it
a warrant.
online. Yeah.
You mean a rego?
Yeah, Rego, sorry.
That's why you're here, young.
Yeah.
Still learning. It's good. It's first year wisdom right there.
But it's a lot of pressure though too, being your guys' age and thinking, oh, what do I want to do for the rest of my life, and trying to pick what thing to study, and it sounds like you said a whole bunch of things, and I'm like, I don't know what, trying to figure out the direction you want to go in.
It's absolutely the most common thing for someone of our age to be asked is just, what are you doing? But it's totally fine to not have figured it out yet. Everyone just kind of expects you to have an answer.
It's been one of the beautiful things about that study the young adults have been doing at Where's God on Monday, because it doesn't matter what we're doing, God needs to be a part of it. So it changes our mindset of taking God or into the mission field, or changing our mission field to our workplace versus having God on a Sunday and going to do your job every other day of the weekday. So challenges that mindset. Both of you, bros. Jannick, tell us what curveballs were thrown your way with COVID. How did your university handle it, Auckland Uni, and what changes have you had to implement?
Well, it was quite weird. I think I was only at uni, physically, for about 3 weeks before.
So interesting first year.
Yeah. So I was figuring out uni full stop, and then no, let's do it at home.
Go back home.
We, at least for my course, it was just recordings. All the lectures were recorded, which they were anyway. So it was just about getting through recordings, and that was a little bit tough at first because there's not a scheduled time you have to do it, to make sure that I figured out to get through the requisite amount of work each week. So I kind of drew myself up a nice calendar and started to put in what I want to get done each day, which kind of helped me adjust that way. There was one course which was like group projects every week, and so we had to move that to the online space, and it was a little bit of a nightmare at times, but we got through it.
Group project on Zoom?
Yeah, we did it on like Messenger call and then a Google document, and it was every time it came to that time of the week. It was not my favourite thing to do, that's all I'll say.
Did you get it done though?
Yeah,
Group thing.
we got it done each week. They said like this should take about 40 minutes, and it took us like 3 hours to do each one. But
Yeah.
What about you, Sam? Where are you studying?
Massey, so just down the road.
Just the
Just
local.
down the road. Yeah, so like we're pretty similar to Jannick. Just went online. One of the days just before lockdown started, I took Ben in and I just like grabbed all the stuff that I had at uni that I needed for projects and stuff, and just pulled it home because it's like this is the last chance I'm gonna get for a while to have this equipment.
You've actually got a pretty sweet setup in your office there.
Yeah.
You better tell everyone what you're actually studying and why having the equipment is important.
Right. I study electrical engineering, and so had all these little electrical things for projects that we're working on that we have to develop and so on and so forth, which is been a godsend. I don't know what I would have done if I couldn't have used it at home. It would have been very slow going.
You walk into his room, it looks like it's got all this kind of, it is kind of like retro stuff in there. It's like, it looks like you're walking into an 80s hacker's room. Like it's really cool. It's like you're walking into a movie set.
Actually, there's some old stuff there.
do you do any like live like lectures or just recordings?
We had one that was live, and it's like pretty bad, eh? Everyone just gets on Zoom, turns off their camera, turns off their microphone, and so the screen is just
thank you at the end of the lecture.
And the lecturer is just like, are there any questions?
Crickets.
Exactly, and that's every single time.
That's how it felt preaching at youth group. Okay, boys, this whole thing is about looking for God in the marketplace, in our jobs, in our workplaces, in our universities. Tell us what that looks like for you guys to take God into university, into your workplaces, in your life.
I reckon one of the best things to do is to just like be honest, because people will like see through any facade you have, and that's like a way of showing people you care and bringing Jesus into workplace, university, wherever, because people, I don't know, grapple with that, and they can see that they can be real with you.
Authenticity.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, I guess I was like thinking about the idea of Where's God on Monday, kind of a similar idea to Sam, where I suppose through my faith journey I've never kind of questioned that God is with me all the time, and so I never really sought out seeing these massive stuff happening throughout my week, and so I was like, where do I see God on Monday? But it is through that, just the simple stuff, and just knowing that He is with me in everything that I'm doing, and whether it be an assignment that I'm trying to hand in and it's getting close to the deadline, it's just like saying that prayer for some strength and to be able to get this done, and just the simple stuff like that. Even this morning I had a football training, and I slept through my alarm, and my mum was not going to wake up at that time. She set her alarm for like 7, which was when the training's supposed to start, and for some reason she woke up and she's like, I think Yannick's supposed to be out of here by now. And she comes in and it's like, when are you supposed to be leaving? I'm like, oh goodness gracious. And it's just like stuff like that, just it's simple, but
Counting
God
your
is a
blessings.
part of that. Yeah.
It's cool. You as university students too. There's like bodies like student life. You're at Auckland, so there'll be student life. Do you want to tell everyone what student life is about? I don't know if you're.
He's only on
If
3
anything,
weeks.
Yeah, I was there for 3 weeks. Student life, we're doing
They would have shown up.
questionnaires and giving out free jandals
That's
to get people to do the questionnaires.
like at a uni. Yeah.
You didn't even have to be a uni student, just anyone on the
I'm there.
on campus. But as you say, I was there for 3 weeks. I did engage in like some texts with some people because one of the guys who is a part of student life is an ex-student at Kingsway that I kind of had known, like not that well, but had a contact with. But I didn't get that involved before lockdown. So next semester when I go back, it's to check out. And there's also like a chapel where a lot of, especially ex-Kingsway students, where a lot of Christian uni students hang out and stuff. So go check that out.
There, and the chaplain at Auckland University is amazing. Dr. Carolyn, she is an absolute legend. Got all the time in the world for that lady.
There you go. I'll be there.
Start talking about this thing called Anam Cara. Look it up. Anam Cara. She is incredibly intelligent on a thing called Anam Cara. So there you go. There's a conversation starter for you with the doctor.
I don't have an overlay for that one.
Once again.
Anam Cara. Google
Can you
it.
spell that, Jordan?
Yeah, A. Anamcara. It's really easy. Okay. Part of growing as believers means ensuring you have an incredible support system. This is where solid Christian believers, such as your friends and the church, play a huge role. How does your support systems work for you guys?
Support systems, yeah. I think over lockdown, our support system as youth leaders has just been strengthened incredibly. It's been real cool. I think post-lockdown, yeah, as leaders we were like pretty close and stuff, but pre-lockdown, but during it, it just kind of brought us all together, and it was tough at times to show up every week on Zoom, and it could be awkward and whatever, but yeah, it's a leadership group, so that's definitely become a huge part of my support system.
Yeah.
I've been encouraged by that.
Just that constant debriefing as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Countdown post youth, we're sometimes there till like 10:30, 11.
Even on Zoom, this fella would put countdown as his background.
You gotta bring through countdown and
The youth leaders go down to countdown after the youth group on Wednesday nights,
Jordan shouts us ice cream.
and I buy them ice cream, and we have debrief and God moments, and
like a good cookie Sammy at countdown.
it's a special moment for us.
I saw some primary school teachers of mine the other day. It was strange. It's weird.
Didn't want an ice cream.
Didn't want an ice cream, but I don't know what they thought of me hanging out in the countdown car park in the fucking night, but
Every Wednesday we'll be there.
yeah.
Sam, what about you, man?
I think it's definitely something I try to make time for is that whole like church support system in a wider sense. Especially with lockdown, like a lot of what Jannick said, we just I think looked out for each other a lot through that time, and we're really like you didn't see it while we were there because it was just we focused on how like hard and stink it was, but we're like really blessed in like retrospect to have each other and to just be able to be so straight up and like not dance around how we're feeling or how we thought last night went or so that's pretty cool to have that openness.
Yeah, and you guys did a really good job of connecting outside of Wednesday as well. You guys were connecting every day in some form.
Yeah.
Someone was doing the Instagram
That was great.
lockdown
Should definitely
thing.
bring it back.
Yeah, that was hard work.
Not as intense, but
Not every day maybe.
But through that stage as well, like you young fellas had people throughout the church praying for you and by name, and there's always unseen things that the church comes in and is involved with, and making sure that you guys are being looked after on a spiritual level. And I think we can so easily forget that because it's important to have those conversations, and you guys were doing a really good job having those conversations. But there was incredible folk out there who were making sure they're praying for you. supporting you and your families as well at times.
It's so cool to know, and again, I suppose that's part of the Where's God on Monday knowing that there's like these people out there who you might even not even know that well, but it's part of our cool church community who got your back in prayer.
Yeah, there's a couple of can I say older folk in our church who always ask me for a list of young people because they just want to pray for each young person by name. And they mentioned last time that the list has got a bit long for them now, but it's just really awesome to know that people commit and care to that level.
Vacation, eh?
Yeah, Jannick, bro. Over the last year, you've developed into what we would describe as an incredible worship leader.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
What does it mean for you to carry that calling?
Yeah, thank you for those lovely compliments. You can go on a bit more.
It's such a musician thing to say. Talk more about me.
No, it's just kind of been something that.
Word here from Pete to Jannick.
Oh, far out. What's up, Pete?
You're a giant.
No good.
Giant of the faith.
Oh, that's cool as. Yeah, I guess playing my guitar and being a part of worship is something that I really enjoy and something that I miss a lot over lockdown. But in terms of being a calling, I think every time I'm worshipping on my guitar or singing, it's kind of a challenge for me that worship is not just in the singing. It's not just on a Wednesday night or a Sunday morning or whatever, and I'm challenged to live every moment as a worship and for lack of a better way of saying it, the cliche that my life would be a song of praise to God, not just when I'm actually singing or strumming.
It's awesome, man. A lot of people won't know this, but through lockdown, a youth group has now been running for. It'll be 24 weeks when we finally hit the next holidays, which was unbelievable. But for the majority of the lockdown, you still led worship for us. By guitar, over Zoom. It was hard work, but watching your heart through that time, your heart of worship, which inspired and I think played a huge role in our young people continuing to connect right through until they could finally come back into their houses. I think that played a huge part in who we are and what we think is important and what we say is important, part of our DNA as a youth ministry. I think it was really cool. Thanks for that, man. I don't know if I told you thanks for that. It was a big commitment from you. Sam, you're also a musician. A lot of people will know your mug from stage. Youth group, you're often facing the wrong direction.
You're standing facing the wall, like.
But tell us what it means to be a worship leader without a microphone.
That is a good question. It's interesting because obviously you're not talking, and the only way you're expressing yourself is through like your emotion, or your like facial emotions, and your weapon of choice. I think it's important to try and like just serve what the song is, like not try and make it like back away when the song requires it, but step in when it requires it as well. It's something I need to work on, but like smiling while you're up there, and just having that inviting expression that helps other people be like, oh yeah, this is yeah, I'm happy to be here, right? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's definitely a bit of something I struggle with a bit, but yeah.
What about you, Ruben? You're a musician, part of the musical team.
I was just going to say, like, remember the kind of, arguably we could call it the OG worship, youth worship band, like back under Elizabeth McGlashan.
OG, I think, means original. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, sorry.
The original, kind of like, you know, one of the earlier iterations of a youth band under Elizabeth McGlashan, that was the biggest thing, is that just none of us smiled. Yeah. And like, it was a big battle, people trying to make us smile up on stage. Yeah. It was strange. Yeah, I mean, I just stand up there and support the leader the best way I can and best way I know possible. I mean, I'm often on keys or the bass, both of which are good kind of supporting instruments. And I just like to give Jannick or Jonathan McGlashan is another awesome worship leader at church, just like to give them the space when they need it and support them with as much hopefully amazing sounding music as I can when needed, and just I don't know, it's really awesome to be up there. And Sam's on the other side of the stage from me, and we often just kind of make eye contact behind all the band, just like, yeah, this sounds good. this is awesome.
Yeah, and I think the rest of the church and everyone else gets encouraged into a place of worship when they see people using their gifts and using their work. You know, we talk about Where's God on Monday. You guys practice throughout the week. A lot of people won't know, but these guys will text Mark at some ridiculous hour saying, "Can we come and have a jam at the church?" And they play worship songs 99% of the time. So there's like this really encouraging heart element to worship.
What's your favorite worship song? Or your top one that's on your top of your playlist that you always like, I gotta put this on.
Currently, maybe.
Yeah.
It changes every
a 3-day rotation.
My favourite album that I'm going back to at the moment is it's by Edge Kingsland. It's an old, I think 2011-ish maybe. It's volume 2. I think it's called Due North. It's like a pink album by Edge Kingsland. Okay. There's some really good songs on there, and I'm constantly, my favourite one is going between a song of that album. At the moment I really like Camino by Edge Kingsland. That's quite a good one.
Keeping it local.
Keeping it local. Edge Kingsland represent Aotearoa.
I'm a big fan of Edge as well. Probably one of my favourite all-time worship ones is one of the older Quippers albums that I don't think it's even on Spotify, but Mum has the CD somewhere.
The CD.
That's OG.
It's a good time. Really like just so much energy in that album. I love it. Yeah.
Even with the amount of time to think, I don't know.
He's like, what was it today?
Yeah.
What did you listen to on the drive here?
Worship playlist wasn't on this. I was like running late, so I just hit play on the Bluetooth, and it was another playlist, unfortunately. But I suppose we'll keep it local. What's Te Rautini now? Kia Kaha is one for the ages for sure. So yeah, it's so powerful.
I think there's songs that kind of define your walk with God. Like know that there's something like, I know that Kia Kaha one was when you guys were at Easter. Was that last year?
No, like 2016.
Because it means a huge amount to you.
Yeah. When my dad was diagnosed with cancer in, I think, like 2016 or 15, 16, something like that, it was actually the Easter weekend that he was diagnosed. So I came home from Easter camp, and that year Kia Kaha was the anthem of Easter camp, and that song is pretty much one verse and directly translated to be strong, be steadfast, be willing.
Yeah.
And so I came home, like listened to the song all the time, and got home. Yeah, my dad had been diagnosed with cancer, and it was just like an incredible kind of anthem to remind me to stay strong, keep strong. And it kind of became a bit of a slogan is the wrong word, but like we started saying it at church all the time. Like it just became Kia Kaha became like a thing that we used at youth group all the time when Jordan first rocked up.
We have a plaque.
Like
a
cool ass wooden board says Kia Kaha.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're so right about like different songs representing different kind of like parts in our walk or journey or
like the Equippers one, Sam. Like that must have been like when you were growing up and your mom would always play it, and now it's like, man, that's my song. My mom and dad used to play Andre Crouch. I don't know, and that's like taking it way back and that was when they first became Christians, so they were like playing the music like all the time, and I was only like 13 or something. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But now when I hear it, it takes me back to when my parents were first like Christians, and everything changed for us, and it was
Do you still say that's up there as your top? Or?
No, I didn't say that. No.
My apologies.
No, I've heard this new song. It's called "Lift You High." I don't know if you guys have heard it, but the bridge is really cool. Where it says, "I won't let the rocks cry out in my place," which I think that's a really cool line. And then it says, "Because you give me, with the breath that you give me, I will bring you praise." And so that's that's what I was rocking to. I don't know. I think you pulled up, and I was like blasting in my car before I came up. I was like, I love this song.
It's been really cool over lockdown, just listening to a whole lot of worship, and like predominantly these days, I actually listen to a lot of music from Aotearoa. Like Kiwi worship to me is really cool. There's Curate, which used to be Mosaic. Carry Me Along. Like Te Rautini used to be Link. Edge Kingsland. Like there's all these really awesome Kiwi worship bands. I just think they've got some awesome music. But then again, last night Josh Ripley A song that I've kind of forgotten about, which slaps, which is a good thing, is Glorified. Man, it sounds so good. So
It's going back a wee bit too.
It is, exactly. Like I'd forgotten about it, but man.
It was like old school last night too.
Yeah, it's funny as you guys are talking about songs that define you. One of the ones that define me is the old Rugged Cross. It's so old. But anyway, okay, let's push on. So on top of being worship leaders and musicians, on top of being uni students, you guys all help at Youth OBY, Ottawa Baptist Youth. Where have you seen God move throughout these past few months as youth leaders?
In many ways. Yeah. Even just the fact that we still, our youth group got stronger over lockdown.
Genuinely grew.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That is pretty cool. I mean,
There's massive solidarity through both with the leaders and with the youth as well. I think we just saw they were really needed each other
and the leaders. I mean, personally, I think you guys feel the same way. The leaders genuinely needed the youth as well. Like Wednesday nights or Wednesdays sometimes absolutely sucked. Like I would just be not keen to hop on Zoom on a Wednesday night. It's just the last thing I felt I don't. But we'd hop on, have some banter. Like these kids are a bit cheeky and giving us a bit of lip, and it's great. Like we're enjoying it. And then afterwards, Jordan leaves at 9. We're on there till 11 playing random online games. It just ended up being so good, and it's such an awesome way to break up a very monotonous week.
Yeah.
And gave purpose. We're here for a reason. This is why we do what we do. So we have all the fun and games, but also, we're not just feeling sorry for ourselves. We're trying to help this young person take a step closer to God.
yeah, one of the cool things is definitely getting in our small groups over lockdown. And my small group is a very small group. We have one youth, but it's been cool to connect with him and see him asking questions. But I think through lockdown and through the questions, you see his heart is starting to it's moving in that place, engaging in the intellectual stuff that we're discussing, which is real cool.
Totally.
There's almost a sort of goofy, informal side to it, because normally I don't know, people would have dinner and then they'd go to youth, but because it was the convenience of your own home, people turning up with food or
the amount of times I've eaten dinner on Zoom, just what was that, guys? Every week, eh?
It's so true. Andy Kim in pajamas. I mean, he does that normally as well.
He rocked up to church in pajamas.
No, it was good.
It's just been really cool seeing that I mean, I was saying earlier, sometimes Wednesdays just sucked and I just didn't want to do it, but seeing that every week, that all the youth just were there every week, all wanted to be there, and they were just looking forward to it so much, and they were just so on fire for it, and it was just so cool to see their passion remain, through a time like this, and our numbers grew, how mental is that? It's so cool.
On a side note, it's a little bit relevant, but we even started a running club over lockdown on Strava.
How long has that lasted,
I don't know what that means.
So Strava is a running app that you log your runs, and then we made a real Baptist youth running club, so everyone
Is Anthony in that?
He wasn't.
I saw him running the other day.
I'm not sure.
Was he running from someone?
So, I'm glad to hear that the discipleship goes beyond small group to Wednesdays.
It's great. Someone would log a run, it would be Jannick just went for a 5K run. Everyone has to like that run. It's called giving kudos, and everyone just slams them with kudos.
That sounds bad, you were contributing to the social media need for.
I think it's support.
Okay, so this is a question you guys haven't been prepped for. On Wednesday, we had our first youth group back here at the building. So we continued online and then in homes, but we had our first one here. Jannick, you led worship. You were all on stage, but you guys led worship 12 songs with the help of Miglashan.
An hour and a half of worship.
An hour and a half of worship. What did it mean for you guys to have that bit of open mic time, to hear some of the stories, to see these young people connect? One of them getting up saying, I want to be baptized, another one getting up and saying, man, the unity that kept me sane through that time. What did it mean for you guys?
That's just crazy, that unprecedented, to just use a massive ass word. that you'd come out of lockdown and someone would want to be baptised. You
The
would,
timing.
yeah, you would be thinking that people would be coming out of lockdown thinking, why am I, well, like, I don't even know if I want to be here anymore. Like, it's made me question all this, like, really serious stuff. Just, like, so good. Yeah.
It was just so cool seeing, being up on stage. We were there for an hour and a half playing 12-ish worship songs, and we'd break it up into like 3 or 4 song sets and then open the mic up for a little bit. And it's always like the first time, especially, it's like a little bit of, not awkward silence. It was a bit quiet, and I'm trying to play the keyboard as quietly as possible, and then someone gets up, and I think it was the first person gets up and goes, "Hey guys, I want to get baptized," and it was just so awesome to hear, like how cool is that, and Harry Coe and talking about unity and all that, but like it's just so awesome to see that we haven't lost any of what we built before lockdown. We finished so strong last year on youth group. I think the last week of youth group for 2019 was just an awesome highlight, where worship just was incredible, and like everyone was getting really into it, and the Holy Spirit was moving and stuff, and we kind of came back stronger than ever for 2020 and after lockdown, I reckon.
Just thinking about like the open mics and people sharing, like that's kind of why that's what it's all about at the end of the day, to see people growing in faith and like people getting in the Word as well, like out of youth, even hearing people speak about that.
Are we allowed to share much of that one story that came through while we were at Countdown? About reading the Bible cover to cover.
One youth who has only started kind of coming to church and coming to youth in the last couple of years. They're not they haven't
family.
they're from whatever college and stuff, and they've read the Bible or been reading the Bible cover to cover, and
up to Psalms or something.
Yeah, they're up to Psalms now, and
amazing,
their mum's coming to church and stuff. So it's really, really cool to see.
It's encouraging to see. Trying their best to get their family along.
Every now and then, like something like that happens, and it just like it's become so crystal clear why you're here.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're just like really struggling.
It shows the importance as a pastor for intergenerational ministry. So you guys, slightly older, looking after these guys, helping them take that step closer to Jesus. Someone needs to be doing the same for you, and someone who's 60 needs a 70-year-old encouraging them and charging them, saying, "Hey, this is, how are you taking that step closer to Jesus today?"
And one final thing that I thought is like, that's why we're here. It's like the games and stuff is fun, but it's not enough to sustain a youth group, because it's not what a youth group's about. And so if it was just we went there for fun and we went there to hang out during lockdown, it would have fizzled out. So to hear those stories, it's
Can't play Magic Number on Zoom. If that was all we were about, we wouldn't be around. But
We did miss Magic Number.
Magic Number is definitely going to make a massive return this week.
Huge.
It's going to be a violent game. Alright. In the nicest way possible.
how many would those?
If you ever come down to youth group on a Wednesday night, you'll probably see young people playing a game called Magic Number.
And Jordan is the most ruthless.
Has not caused any injuries yet.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Final question: where have you seen God move over this time in your own journeys?
I suppose my thing is similar to sharing about getting the word, is being at home 24/7 actually created like a climate where I know I'm super challenged and encouraged to be more intentional about spiritual discipline and making sure, like at the start, it started out with as a youth group we did Bible reading plans and checking those off. It's quite satisfying to each day, and like you don't want to fall behind or whatever. But then it kind of, as that was less, it kind of morphed into my own personal. And I have to say thanks to Mark. He got me my utmost for his highest. And so just been in that every morning, even if it's just that. As I eat my breakfast, it's like it's the right way to start the day. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think like lockdown's been pretty hard, just like testing your patience, I guess. it's encouraged me to I don't know, look for God in the small things, and I don't know, that try and really like the steadfastness aspect of the faith, and just holding out, I guess. I don't know.
Awesome. Hey, we're going to ask you guys to pray for everyone watching, to pray for the church in a moment.
Kia ora, Mitchell. Good to see you, man.
Kia ora, Mitchell. But I think it's just really important to acknowledge you guys as the youth pastor, the amazing work you do as youth leaders, as volunteers, but also it's just so good, and I think COVID proved it, that it's not lip service. You guys are here for a purpose. We're seeing young people grow. And like you say, unbelievable to see our youth ministry actually grow through a time where you expect ministry, especially youth ministry, to take a hit. So massive kudos. Thank you guys for being such a blessing to Orewa Baptist Youth, to this church, and kia kaha. So would you guys mind praying for us this morning?
Yeah, sure.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today, and I just want to thank you for this platform that's been able to reach out to the church through lockdown, and thank you for Jordan and Dee, and Bianca and Ruben for putting in this like constant work week after week. I just want to pray for the church that we won't be hesitant to check up on people after lockdown. It's been like pretty hard, and definitely has put some distance between people, and pray that you'll help us not to forget about the community.
Yeah, Father, thank you for this church, for Orewa Baptist, for the community that there is. Thank you for the people that we can be encouraged. Thank you that even during lockdown, there has still been a community and people reaching out, and as Sam prayed, I pray that we be strengthened post-lockdown, that as a community draw together, be the intergenerational aspect, that each part of the body would be there to make it work. I pray for the rest of this week, for people watching, that it'll be a blessed week, and that we take time to reflect and to be aware of where you are, not just on Mondays but each day through the week. Amen.
Amen. Thank you guys. We really appreciate you coming in. We really appreciate you as individuals and as younger folk here at the church, being an incredible example for even younger folk and some of us older guys. And we appreciate you guys for watching and joining us here on Where's God on Monday. We will see you next week for our last
Final week.
Monday. Our last ever Monday.
I think this is a new record, Jordan. We're well over 45 minutes.
Well, young people, they can talk. But no, we appreciate you. We will see you next Monday. I've got that right, eh? We've got one more Monday, and then a special Sunday version of Where's God on Monday to wrap it all up. We will see you then. Ka kite anō.
Bye.
Bye.